Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the One's Ready podcast. That's right. I did it to you again. Not letting you know we're starting, just jumping right into it because I don't care. Anyway, we wanted to come on and talk about, or at least I did anyway. I'll just say it was my idea because I have the best ideas, right? No?
Yes.
No. Chief.
I'm contractually obligated to say yes.
Yeah, Chief. You've got the best ideas.
You're so smart.
You're the best.
You're cool.
Well, so I actually don't know when we're going to release this because our production is but
it takes time.
Sorry, it's Monday and I'm having a great day already, like a legitimate great day. So I just like to have fun. Anyway,
we have fun here.
Yeah, we have fun. Yeah, mandatory fun. Anyway, what we're going to talk about, or what I'd like to kind of hit on, are kind of two different things because I've seen them frequently in the Discords and the our DMs. Is mentorship or mentors, and then you're finding your why. Like everybody's stuck on that kind of stuff. So I think one of the things that we should probably talk about is maybe our whys, or what we have, or maybe lack of, or how we kind of came up with it. And then we can talk about some of the mentors or people that have shaped us in a life as more of a thank you, and also ways to kind of pick those out. So, like I said, I think we will probably drop Dr. Brittany Looney, her episode first before this. But she actually walks through and Trent, I know you weren't there, but at the end of it, she kind of walks us through a 5 whys. She does an exercise with the 5 whys. And it's kind of like, hey, why do you want to be Air Force Special Warfare? And Aaron came up with this very concise and eloquent, just like wham. And it kind of took her by surprise. But at the same time, we've all three of us been doing this for over 20 years. So we have we've done plenty of professional developments that have helped us develop this. We've been doing the job long enough that we know exactly, why we are doing it. And that has probably changed throughout the years. That has for sure changed throughout the years for me, because my why now is not the same when I was 17 coming through.
That's still just money. That's it.
It's just money.
I'm telling you, you have picked the wrong job then.
Yeah, geez, man. Yeah, boy.
There are so many other things you could be doing.
What a shitty lie.
Show myself out.
Jeez.
But it was productive, and I think that's, although it may, the three of us may already have a well refined why. I think some people out there, obviously because of the Discord and some of the DMs, is people are struggling with that. And they were like, hey, what is your why going through ANS? What is your why going through SWIC and throughout the pipeline? Because it's a big commitment. You say, I'm going to spend the next 2.5 years, and then potentially 3.5 years if you count the development beforehand, of committing to this job, committing to getting ready and passing. Before we kind of go into it, you guys got anything on that specifically, kind of what I'm rambling about? All right, cool.
Aaron, go. You're the eloquent one.
I was waiting on Trent. Yeah.
You're concise and eloquent.
Yeah. I don't know if I would define myself as concise and eloquent. No, getting to your why is going to be a tough one. And you're totally right. It's going to change. It was different for me when I came in. It had evolved by the time that I cross-trained. It evolved throughout my career, and I'd have a completely different answer now, and I don't even know if I would agree with younger me with what my why is today. My younger self would question, well, how did you get there? I don't even understand that. So I think it's going to change. The basics, and what we talked about with, Dr. Loney was, you really have to peel it back. You have to almost ask yourself why, have a debate for yourself, say, okay, well, why am I doing this? And that first answer, that's just the first layer. That's your first answer. You have to really dig in to what that means, because what you're trying to get to, and we've talked about it before, is what is an enduring principle? What is an enduring set of values? What is an enduring thing? Like, your why has to be bulletproof, because you are going to rely on that. You're going to reach for it. So if you haven't done the work to get to that center nugget of exactly what it is, like as you question yourself in those times at A&S. And it's not just, you getting just absolutely smoked to death and you're just tired and you're at your physical limit. It's like in between schools going to SWIC and getting screwed with every day. You have a weird Tuesday down at Joint Base San Antonio and you get dropped 20 times because some knucklehead can't figure out to tuck his shirt in, or, you're after dive school, you get back to San Antonio and you're like, oh, thank goodness, no more of that. And then you get hit with a water con session on the weekend because some idiot had a dip in his mouth and saw some cadre member somewhere. Like, that stuff happens for like 2 years. So your why, it can't just be, your why has to be strong enough, not only in those moments of, okay, you did 4 million push-ups and you're carrying a log and you haven't slept in 2 days. Okay, yeah, that's the easy button. But is your why strong enough to keep you from losing focus and doing dumb stuff and getting disciplinary actions, or going out and drinking too much on the weekend, or letting your physical fitness slip, or not studying like you should? It's a lifelong thing, and that's just a pipeline. Like, we're not talking about, throughout your life in the career, once you graduate and get on team and all these other things. Like, your why has to be bulletproof. So unless you do the work, unless you really sit down and try to figure it out, it's going to falter, and it's going to falter at the wrong time. And that's where you see people quit, you leave the career field, do all this other stuff. So Dr. Loney's episode was amazing. I don't think I was that eloquent, but we'll see what it is.
No, you did, because I listened to it because I wanted to figure out what she called it, because
right,
everybody calls it different things.
Yep.
And she was calling it, your 5 whys, and she went right into it, and you just
really interesting episode. Dr. Loney's crazy.
So, like, kudos to you. You've gotten that feedback before from Ivan Reese. He has even given you that kind of that feedback before. You're pretty eloquent.
Aaron's really good at accepting compliments as well.
Yeah, it doesn't make me feel weird
publicly.
Yeah.
So stop it. You're doing this on purpose.
Can we just go on?
But I think, I don't know if like the foundation of your why changes. Like we all want to provide value. Like when I look at my younger self and I'm like, oh, I had a chip on my shoulder. Like, why did I have a chip on my shoulder? It's because I wasn't fulfilling my potential. I wasn't providing the value to society that I felt like I could. I felt like I was letting people down because I wasn't doing what I should be doing. And while the label of my why has changed many times, and it has, as my abilities and stuff to provide value and the people that I care about have changed, so that label has changed on the surface. But I don't think like the foundation of the why has really changed that much.
Do you think you could have defined it early on though? Like,
no,
yeah,
so
for
dumb.
sure. For sure, the label has changed.
Yeah.
Right. But I think, okay, so you said you didn't want to let anybody down, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's a weird thing too. Like, it's like, I don't know why I'm doing this necessarily until, I get into the Air Force and I put my name tag on that has my last name on it. And I know I want to make my parents proud. I don't want to keep letting them down. I don't want, to like have my last name associated with nothing but dumpster fires. And I'm an angry little dude, and I want to do something with my life and prove all the people that in my mind were doubting me wrong, which they probably didn't think about me at all. But, like 20 whatever year old me is like, well, I want to provide value. I want to do something. I want to make something of myself, which is it. I think when you're younger, the label is more self-centered, even though that's not necessarily the truth of the matter. Yeah. You want to provide value.
Isn't that funny? I think the language that we're using, and Start With Why by Simon Sinek came out in 2009, right? Now maybe people were talking about their why, before that, but maybe that whole moniker came by Simon Sinek. Maybe I don't know. I'll give credit to him, but you talk about, I'm got my family name on my chest. Everybody knows it. Everybody can look you up, especially now we're, very public. You're representing your community. Every time you put that beret on, you're representing your small special reconnaissance, PJ, CCT career field. Then you're representing the greater Air Force Special Warfare. Then you're representing, SOCOM or the special operations. Then you're representing the Air Force, and then the DOD, and now, people from Vegas or people from San Antonio, or, you know what I mean? So it's like you are representing your community and stuff like that. And why and that servitude, because that's what I think it truly comes down to, is servitude. And I think, like, yes, we have defined that between all of us throughout the years, but I could have never told you it was servitude at the very beginning, because it wasn't servitude at the beginning. It was, I want to do cool guy shit. That's what I want to do. I want to jump out of planes, shoot guns. I want to dive. I want to ride motorcycles. That's what I wanted to do. It had nothing to do with serving. I wanted to have fun.
Yeah.
Well, and some of it's like, the challenge too. And I've said this speech to cross trainees before, is sometimes you see, especially people that fail in doc or in assessment selection the first time, their why is like, they want to avenge that loss. Like, they want to go into the pipeline because they failed, and they want to go and they want to make it. I was hyper aware of that. Like, I was lucky enough to get some really good feedback, as I was getting ready to cross train. And I've told the story before, but I had a colonel that sat me down, every single day for a week, an hour out of my day, sometimes with my spouse at the time, would sit me down and be like, why are you going back in? You need to explain this to me. And one of the days, she would have a theme essentially every day. One of the themes was, is this just about doing what you couldn't do before? Because it's not enough. It's not enough just to go back and pass this test that you failed before and that you have these problems with. And she was really clear about that. And at the time, I was mad. At the time, I didn't want to take that feedback, but it was actually really, really good feedback, because it made me dig into the why a little bit further, because it wasn't good enough just to be like, well, I failed the first time and I don't want to fail a second time. Okay, that's bullshit. You cannot, that is not going to help you in your dark times. That is not going to get you through some of those situations that we talked about before. That is a hollow reason. And that would have just faded away if that was it. But it forced me to be introspective and actually dig into the why and go, okay, wait, is this just about failure? Like, do I just want to go do this thing because I failed the first time and I want to prove to everybody that I can do it the second time? Because that is a very narcissistic and self-centered view of what this thing was supposed to be, what being a PJ was supposed to be. It's not just about passing the test of the pipeline. And people screw that up all the time with us. We see it every day in the DMs and, on the Discord, and like, oh, I want to make it through the pipeline. I want to get all these cool schools. And, what can I do to get my beret? We're like, guys, if that's your focus, it's okay to be a little bit short-sighted. It's okay to let that be your 5-meter target, because we preach that all the time. And I agree with that. But that can't be your why. You can't just want to win all the time. And that's, as a guy that wants to win all the time, I'm telling you.
That was weird that you just said that.
I know, it has to be deeper than that. It can't just be about winning. It can't just, because you're not going to win every day. And I'll tell you that from this hard lesson that I learned, you're going to lose. There's going to be days where you don't win. There's going to be days where you suck. There's going to be days where you betray that name on your chest or that other name tape that says U.S. Air Force. Like, there are going to be days where you don't live up to the motto. There are going to be days that you suck. And if it's all about winning, that first day that you lose, the first day that you get set back from a school, that first day that you fail an event, that first day that, God forbid, you get set back on the pipeline, that you're going to have a lot of questions to answer to yourself. Because if it's all about winning on the days that you lose, I can come up with 1 million of hyperbolic examples, like 1 million of them, that's going to suck. And you're going to have to figure that out. So your why has to be deep enough, not only to be there in your successes, but to be there in your failures. That has to be the bedrock of what it is that you like. That's your rock bottom. Like, when you hit rock bottom, when you think that you can't go another day, you can't do another event, you better be standing on your why and going, okay, hold on. This is where we start again. This is where we start to fail fast, and all the other things that we always tell people. Go forward from that why.